Sunday, June 26th, 11:38 a.m. A text message from me to Greg Miller. Me and Dee are watching a new show on Hulu called The Bear about a chef, which I spelled wrong, that takes over his brother's original beef restaurant in Chicago. I think I spelled it Chief. Made me think of you. It's intense, but really good. And he said fiction or nonfiction, and I said fiction. That was it.
I feel like that one word, changing chef to chief, changes the entire premise of what the show is.
I mean, that is very true. Actually, I think, how do you spell chef? C-H-E-F?
C-H-E-F.
I spelled it right. Okay, I spelled it right. And my brain just now, it spelled it right.
I was going to say, because he would have gone into it expecting a completely different show.
Absolutely. Nothing from Greg. Okay. Yesterday, 16 hours ago, 17 hours ago, probably at this point. Right? Tweets, stop what you're doing right now. Everybody go watch The Bear on FX. It's incredible. That's it.
No credit.
No mention of the fact that I saw the trailer for this thing and thought this is something that he might think of. Like, and I immediately thought of Greg because it was made in Chicago. It's about an original beef restaurant, of course. It's about an intense Italian family with a horrible dynamic, very dysfunctional. So I figured all of these things are hitting on, for me and Greg across the board. Of course, a lot of people don't know Greg full-blood Italian. Zero
full-blown
credit from me.
He didn't talk to you about his feelings about the show either, right?
At one point, he glossed over it. I think he said, "Hey, Bear, really good. You don't really get great. It's like getting blood from a stone, right? With Greg, you get no emotion from whatsoever. It's just a blank slate."
To be fair, though, sometimes you don't listen, Nick. So he may have.
Great point, Andy.
There could have been a situation where he'd had a full-blown conversation with you, and Nick was just somewhere else.
I'm not going to discount that. I'm not gonna say you're wrong because we have literally dozens of instances of that being a correct thing that you just said, a correct assertion. But what I will say on this is I brought this to his attention today during the Amazon Prime stream. Right? I said, Greg, where's my credit? Credit where credit's due. Right?
Exactly.
And then Greg's internet mysteriously just went out.
Wow, that's so right. You're so right.
Wow.
It did just shut down. I don't know. Now, here's the thing, though, Blessing. I don't think it was like a one-to-one immediate thing. I don't think it shut down.
There was a lot of space. He was like, I'm going to go do something on the internet. And
Kevin,
Nick
there may have been
out.
like 30 minutes in between.
I believe so.
So not a cause and effect
I
thing.
think it was actually, he said, and I quote, "I'll fix it right now." And then his internet went out. I actually do think it was like within 30 seconds of him going to fix this thing. And to the best of my knowledge right now, chat, he has not given me credit.
That's so funny.
Still has it.
Literally last night.
No
wait, so he didn't tweet out whatever he was going to tweet?
I'm
looking.
not that I have
I'm
seen,
looking.
I have not had anything pop up on my Twitter feed.
I think
and it's
when
like
his
I'm
internet
not gonna
goes
go
out,
looking for it.
priorities change.
Well, I mean, he was on another Amazon sponsored stream right after,
especially
so
when you
I
have
think
big things happening.
Yeah.
Look, and he was on. We asked him what the stream was going to be on. We're like, "Wait, what stream are you on next after this?" He goes, "Like, where can people find you?" He goes, "You literally can. You just go to twitch.tv." That's how big the stream was. There was no additional information on that. He was on the front page of Twitch. So to his credit, I guess what little credit I can give him on this one,
which is like more than he can do.
Fry. Yeah, exactly. Oh.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if he deserves the credit you're giving him right now, because where is yours,
I can confirm the follow-up tweet that he promised has not been followed through on.
So
So
thank you for doing the research, Joey.
I feel like you should just really keep that in your back pocket for when you need it.
Because last night, I was gonna say before we started the show, Blessing had this this moment where Joey said, "Oh, Nick, have you seen The Bear?" sort of thing, and then Nick was like, "Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?" And then Blessing said, "Oh, is that the show Greg talked about, right?"
Yeah, like literally last night, I had a moment where I'm hanging out with my friend Yami, and usually we watch shows together. And I'm like usually looking for whatever the next show we're gonna watch is, and I saw Greg put out the tweet at 8:35 p.m. Man, stop what you're doing and go watch all of #TheBearFX. Incredible. I saw that and I was like, oh, I've never heard of the show The Bear, but I do love FX. Like FX has such an excellent track record. You're talking Atlanta, you're talking Dave, you're talking
Fargo,
Fargo,
Justified.
You're the
Rami,
worst.
the devs.
the devs. Was that really FX? Devs is FX.
Devs is FX.
Mhm.
I think was
Damn.
Halt and Catch Fire FX or was that AMC?
That's
That might have
Netflix.
been
That was AMC, but it went to
AMC.
Netflix after, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that tweet and I was like, damn, all right. Like Greg has never steered me wrong when it comes to recommendations like that. If Greg says to watch something, I know I should watch it. And so
Greg's never steered you wrong with a movie,
No,
with a
I'm-
movie or TV recommendation.
I'm just trying to push Dick to the edge. But no, I did see the tweet and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna watch it. And I'm not seeing it yet, but I do plan to.
Now, do
will
you
say-
plan on
know-
giving Nick credit?
I mean, I heard about it from Greg. I don't know if you get
Listen, I don't-
true.
okay, listen.
You're not credit.
I
Yeah.
don't wanna say-
Sorry,
I
Nick,
don't
I
wanna
can't
s-
give you credit either. I heard about it from John Drake. So
Who probably heard about it from Greg. And this is the problem that I'm saying here is I get this bad rap for not being a tastemaker. And I think it's because I don't want the glory. Okay. I don't need to be the Tom Brady's out there throwing the winning, I'll just be the Bill Belichick. Okay. I want to sit there. I want to sit there in my sweatpants on the sideline. I don't want anyone to look at me. I don't want to talk to anyone, Andy. I just want to coach the game and get everyone through it. Get the trophy, get the ring, whatever they give at the end of the football season.
He
Go
has
home.
plenty of credit, yeah.
Just want to go home. I don't want any
Belichick
cameras
has
on
plenty of
me.
rings.
I don't want anyone to pour any Gatorade on me. I don't want people to give me all the credit for pretty much just putting the entire strategy of the team together. I don't need any of that stuff.
That's the
Okay.
entirety of what Nick knows about football.
That was it.
They pour Gatorade on you.
He dug into that bag and poured it out. Like this is every reference I know involving football.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this is the KindaFunny podcast. Welcome back. My name is Nick Scarpino, your host. Alongside, it's Christmas, and during the 4th of July, Joey Noel,
hello.
the King of Halloween, Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Hello.
And oh man, I had to pull that.
You could
Where
just
the
say
heck-
the
you know what the
globe-trotting,
root,
head-trotting,
the
nitro
globe
rifle.
shot and head trotting, rootin'
Yeah, exactly.
shooting, nitro rifle from Twitch.tv, Mr. Andy Cortez.
Hello,
Pretty much
everybody.
the only person I have here on my side apparently is Andy Cortez, and I blame our lineage of having the award-winning show KFAF under our belt together.
Mhm.
I
Did
will
Nick tell you
say
about Bears or the Bear? All right, he's gone. He's
no.
Wait, also, what award did KFAF win?
Greatest show.
Well, the streamies are back up for nominations,
Yeah,
and we're
I mean,
statute of limitations.
still going.
a posthumous award for
We should
KFAF.
do one episode of KFAF every year just to try to get a streamy on it.
The qualifications.
Just every time. Oh my gosh. All right, a couple housekeeping things before we continue these shenanigans. Hey, this weekend, come party with Greg, Joey, Snowbike Mike, and Xbox this Friday in LA. They're taking over the Fonda Theater in Hollywood for the As Dusk Falls launch event, and you have to be there. RSVP over at kindafunny.com/Xbox. Very, very, very jealous that
It's
I'm
going to
not there.
be really fun. I'm really excited. It's been fun to see people tweeting about us about RSVPing. It's fun to be going to an event again. It's been like a hot second. The boys are trying to drag me to In-N-Out when there's like a billion better places to eat in LA. So that's just
no, go somewhere else.
I know. I'm trying. It's 2 against 1. It's not working out very well. They really want to go to In-N-Out.
Okay, well, you
Is
guys
it
let us
because
know how that
Paris
is.
has been talking shit?
I think
Are
so.
they
And
trying
they
to
want to like
defile?
recreate a picture that Greg posted with Benjamin at
Yeah.
In-N-Out.
He posted a photo, Blessing, of Greg's holding Benjamin, and it was for Benjamin's 9th month anniversary of sort of like
Alive.
a little,
Interesting.
It's 9 months
It's an
in,
interesting
9
time
months
frame.
out, right?
yeah. So yeah,
Is that okay?
well, there was a
It is it's a
There was
real
a-
thing.
there was a moment. There was a moment on our Amazon stream that I had to text Nick about later because I just thought about it, just started cracking up because Greg mentions, yeah, well, tonight we're going to In-N-Out for my son's 9-month birth anniversary, and then I asked what I think is a pretty logical question. I was like, oh, where are you taking them for the 10 and the 11th month ones? And where'd you go for the 4 and the 5 and the 6 and the 7? and he's trying to make a point and talk about something, and he hears this from me, and you could tell it did not sit well.
It didn't go well. It's totally one of those things. Like, if we can pull the curtain back for a second, obviously Andy and I, we don't know what parents do. We don't know if this is a normal thing that people do, and I'm sure it's probably like pretty nice and endearing to chronicle the first
They just want
year of your
In-N-Out
son's
for
life.
sure, right?
Yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
but for me and Andy, we were both like, how many this can't go on.
When does it stop?
This can't past a year. It has to go out to the year mark. You can't keep counting things by months.
13th
Here's
month
the thing.
anniversary.
No, because that's when it all starts. And that's when they all start. I think it's like up until like, I don't know, kids are like 3 where they refer to them by how many months they are, not years. And that is a personal pet peeve. I think that's kind of annoying. Just say your kid's like 2 or 2.5.
Yeah, one and
But
a half.
they'll
No,
tell
but they're
people
like
that-
18 months,
Yeah,
and
I
like
don't like
all
that.
of those things. I don't like it.
Let's
It's-
start. Let's
Is
get it out
13
on the.
months significantly different from 16 months?
I don't know. And that's why I don't.
I also
They
don't
should
know.
just be 1. They should just be 1 or 1.5. I
I
don't
will
think we need
say
the month by month update.
I'm right there with you, Joe. But you know what else I'm with you for? Over on KindaFunny.com/store, we got some dope ass new merch. This is the Tropical Collection. It's live, designed by Nick over at Campfire Design Studio. We're very excited about this. You guys got to go check that out. If you're looking for some fly
really
new
dope.
button-down shirts, it is super cool, and I want one because it's gonna look really cool on stage. Shout out to the people who make this thing. Oh, look at that. Scroll through. We got some sunglasses there too. Look at that. Audio listeners, you're missing out. Go over to kindafunny.com/store. Check out all this cool stuff. And just, you know what? Enjoy the
Party
endless
hats
summer with me
are
and
back.
Snowbike Mike.
This
Oh, the
Friday.
party hats are back.
This Friday.
got the party hat
they'll
right
be
here.
back.
This is my favorite hat, by the way. This is my favorite piece of merch we've ever done. I love this.
It's
thing.
a real good one.
It looks good.
How
The people at my
does
local
everybody
Starbucks
have
love
all
it.
this merch? Like I was on a show with Gary Whitta this morning, and he had the newest Kind of Funny shirt, and I'm like, how do I get on that level? How do I get?
You got to go get it
some-
from Tim's house.
No, I picked it up from
Tim
Tim.
lives far
I
away.
picked Tim up at his house. We were going to lunch.
He's so close to you.
And I was like, yeah, it's really close. And I was like, hey, I want to, we're going to go by the studio real quick. I got to check something out because we're still building it out. And he goes, cool. I got a bunch of merch. Can we put it, can we put it in your car and take it over there? And on the way, I was like, what, is that a pterodactyl? And Tim's like, what, how is that spelled? With a P or a D? I don't even know how pterodactyls. But I just reached in the back and I stole this hat, Blessing. I stole it and I shoved it under my seat.
You don't have to steal it.
We can get you one though. You're really
there's
close.
lots.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. Shout out to our Patreon producers, Nathan Lamoth, David. I gotta read these things beforehand. Kwizanga, Delaney Twining, Gordon McGuire, Fargo Brady, Huba Stanky, Gordon McGuire again, Pargot Singh, and Al the Predator Tribesman. Buried alive. Today we're brought to you by ExpressVPN, MeUndies, and Athletic Greens, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
I wanted Kevin to direct his eyes to the assets channel in Slack because I was able to find the timestamp for this moment because I really want you to see like the disappointment that in Greg's face, and also like he stops talking completely, so you could tell he's like not super happy with what I just asked, and then Nick starts laughing.
This is like the last part. By the way, I'll fully admit we all follow rules here, and my role is to be the last person you ever want laughing when you're embarrassed about something, because I just can't stop. I couldn't stop. But I'm curious to see how this goes over. Because I remember it being like, a lot of people don't know this about Greg, but Greg always puts on a happy face. He's usually about 20 to 30% more tired than he's letting on at any given second. And so this, I think, just took whatever little wind was in his sails, took it right out of it. Let's give this a watch if we can.
Well, why can't we hear it? There
For
it
and
is.
out against Indiana, even though I'm going to have it
okay.
tonight, and we're taking my child's 9-month anniversary
wow.
photos there today.
That's terrific.
What
I-
were
there's
you
a
taking the
conversation
10,
about it.
11, and
9
12
months.
months?
Yeah, what?
There's a question about it, right?
It's that like couple
He knows we got
seconds.
him. He knows we got him right now.
Where he's
No answer.
Stop
No.
on that. We
I knew
no
what you were
answer on
saying,
that.
and then it was 11th and 10th. I'm like, oh, this isn't even worth where I'm going.
And
Those
then later
seconds
on-
where he's processing that are the best. Like, I'm not even gonna address these.
As soon as he says 9 months, there's a smirk on 80's face. That killed me because it's like that. Like, oh, I got him. Like, I got him right here.
Here
Kind
we
of
go,
smirk.
motherfucker.
Here we go.
Well, what it reminds me of is in that moment, it reminds me of also kind of making fun of him for the honeymoon, baby moon thing which is like, I just feel like we're adding all these new things. Like in today's society, if you are a predominantly Caucasian family, you're gonna have approximately 30% more holidays. I just feel like that. Like maybe I'm wrong. It just feels like when we had the baby moon thing with Greg, I was like, oh god, what next? Like what's next? A 9-month thing? And sure enough, here we are at the 9-month thing. But in that moment, though, what he's doing is proposing an email to Xbox PR. Because he wants to get Phil Spencer.
That's right.
On an Xbox, on an In-N-Out podcast with them.
Right.
Because Phil Spencer replied to Greg's tweet about In-N-Out and said, I normally don't do this, but I'm with Greg. And so Greg was like, wait, does that mean that he normally doesn't agree with me? Or and we're no. Like Phil Spencer just normally doesn't get into internet disputes and dumb bullshit, dumb fights on the internet. So he's proposing this tweet to Xbox PR and saying, yeah, you gotta do the podcast, this and that, and Mike wants to get in on the podcast, and then Nick proposes that the title of the podcast is "Are You In or You Out?"
I mean, come on.
And then we all
That's a good joke. Come on, guys.
So
Not
good.
one of you laughed. Come
we
on,
all
let's
laugh.
be
No,
real.
no. I laugh at the
No,
dumb joke, and then I'm like, Nick, you're right on it, big dog. And he goes, right, exactly. Greg, where are you taking him for the 10th and 11th month? He goes right back into it. It was so fucking funny.
Oh God, poor Greg. It's funny because I would say like he doesn't deserve it, but let's be honest.
No.
Do you think he's ever like, what have I gotten myself into?
All the
Like,
time.
Every
he's
day.
invested
All
too
the
deeply
time.
into this company. He can't back out at this
He's
point.
screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stuck
he's
with us.
screwed. He had his chance like 7-8 years ago, just abscond, and it didn't work out. He could have stayed at IGN. It's fine.
What other stupid holidays are there like that? Like,
I see this. It's funny, Andy, because all of these things are new to me as well. Like my only context for like stuff that dads and moms are supposed to do now is just like what my mom and dad did, which was nothing. Like my parents didn't do any of this stuff in the 80s.
I'm realizing Kevin laughed because I said, "What other stupid holidays are?" there?" I didn't even mean to like make it sound.
Damn, Andy really has
I
like
was
a
like,
bone
damn, that's harsh.
What other stupid ass things?
You know that it's so funny too because Greg absolutely listens to this when he's not on it. That's one of the like he likes to he absolutely does. Like every once in a while I'll get a text like he'll be like, "Hey, you did a pretty good job hosting the podcast when I wasn't there." Like he'll bring up stuff.
randomly. Like he knows.
It's gonna be-
ask him about it.
He'll listen to
It's
this
gonna
one
be
'cause
Friday
someone's
on the
gonna
plane. He's gonna
Yeah.
turn around and be like,
He's gonna be
"Guys,
so bad.
assholes."
He's gonna be so bad. Here's the.
I was gonna say he listens because there was that one time that we podcasted without him, and he was gone because of paternity leave, and Tim was telling his story about the red carpet, about the Spider-Man No Way Home red carpet. So Greg is like really anxious
That's
to hear
right.
this podcast, but then it took us 48 minutes to get to the topic because we started talking about like, well, we have the Pepperoni Diplomacy Act. We also have to have the Mozz Act, which is like you always have to order mozzarella sticks. And so Greg is telling us this story like, yeah, I'm like really anxious to hear Tim's red carpet story. And you all are bullshitting for fucking 48, 50 minutes. But then it's entertaining and I'm laughing. So I just listen to it anyway.
Got nothing better to do.
Andy, if you remember the like very, very brief conversation that we had about him and his time off while on paternity leave, he was like, I missed you guys so much that I needed to feel like I was in the loop, started listening to stuff.
Oh,
No, that was your
that's
first
true.
mistake.
He was probably bored.
That was your first mistake.
Mhm.
I want to
What
clarify.
was Greg doing during those 3 months?
Yeah.
I mean, eating mozzarella
Yeah.
sticks probably. I want to clarify two things about I want to clarify one. The Mozz Act was, in fact, if I order mozzarella sticks, don't act like I ordered those for the table. That's what it is.
That's what it
the
was.
Mozz Act is.
Is that true?
Don't. Here's the thing. I order them. I say to everyone, Blessing, here's what it is. I give everyone the chance. Hey, do you guys want some appetizers? Yeah. I'm going to get mozzarella sticks for myself. Does anybody else want mozzarella sticks? I will order more mozzarella sticks. That is your opportunity as my friend, coworker, and another fellow human being on this planet to say, you know what, Nick, let's get 2 orders. I will not fault you if you eat all of the mozzarella sticks that are on the table. Having said that, if you go, I don't want any mozzarella sticks, and you eat any of my mozzarella sticks,
You're dead.
we're going to have
That's
words.
fair.
I'm
I have
coming
to-
for you.
That's fair.
See,
So
I thought
order
the
more
Mozz act was that we always ordered more mozzarella sticks
than we need.
think we need.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's
Is
what
that
it's
just
to take. It's
the
to
other side?
alleviate my stress of saying the only thing I want. I have to then I don't have to necessarily admit that to everyone, but I'm like, I'm gonna get mozzarella sticks for myself. I don't have to hammer the point home. But here's the thing: everyone always gets the mozzarella sticks, and then they go, "Should we get some potato skins? Let's get some potato skins, onion rings."
It always
Yeah.
expands out.
They're,
Yeah,
but
let's get
they're
some
dog
jalapeno
shit.
Pickle
poppers.
Everything
chips.
else is bad. Nobody.
No,
Pickle chips are good. Pickle chips are good,
Mhm.
Joey. I won't have you
Also,
talking badly about the pickle chips.
No, I'm saying that we always want the pickle chips. I'm not saying they're bad.
Also, if I may throw in there, jalapeno poppers are
Very good.
phenomenal, and we don't order them
man.
enough.
They don't
Jalapeno
sell them in
poppers.
enough places.
When we went to Cobbs to watch Ron Funches and Nick perform stand up.
I wish I could have been there. How was that?
It was
It
great.
was-
You
it was
honestly,
really
you missed a
good.
great show.
Yeah,
Ron
damn.
Funches does amazing stand up, and also
He's
Nicholas
very
Scarpino.
funny. No,
What would
both
you
very funny.
say, Bless, if I told you I bought a ticket?
What
You
would you
pulled a
say if I told you I bought the most premium ticket and did not use it?
Why
What does
not?
that mean? Because
I don't know how or why, but for some reason I had bought like the most expensive ticket, like the premium seating.
I didn't know there was one.
That
There's
like
tables
is
up
more
front.
expensive. Yeah, it's like some special tables that cost what, like $80 as opposed to
That's
what was it,
probably
like
the front
35,
row.
40 bucks?
Like the
Yeah.
non-general
Yeah.
admission.
But they
Yeah.
weren't front row. They're the front row, and then another segment like right underneath the balcony.
Yeah,
I think,
and
I think
I don't
somebody
know
who
how
had
it
access to that was James Davis. I think I saw James Davis tweet that James Davis makes on Twitter that he
I think he was
had
just
bought
saying-
tickets
but he wasn't gonna
for
go.
yeah, he had bought tickets for those special seats where like you get insulted because you're right there in the front row and the
Yeah.
comedians look at you. But those were like, yeah, those are I think just the bigger sort of. You're less cramped. You're kind of like it's not gen admission, you know.
yeah. But like my thing was I bought these tickets months ago. I don't know how or why I got the non-general admission because usually when I go to Cobbs, I just get general admission because
Yeah.
it's not like a big stadium or anything. Like the seating's fine no matter where you're at. And so I get there and I'm in line with like Kev, Paula, Tim, and Greg. All of them show up, and as I'm like talking to Kev, Kev's like, "Oh yeah, so like what seat you get?" Or it came up of like the seating arrangements, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, we got general." And I look at my ticket and it says premium seating there, and I'm like, "Did nobody else get premium? Am I the only one?" And then like Tim and Greg come up, and I'm like, "Hey, you guys get general?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're general seating." I'm like, "Oh, I got premium." And so like at this point, I've come to understand that I'm just gonna sit by myself while every person I know is gonna share a table
Hell
elsewhere.
no.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, this fucking sucks." But maybe if I find a best friend that's inside, I can trade a ticket, or maybe like if I just have premium, they won't care if I just go because it's not like a sign for general. It is a sign for premium, but for general admission, you can just sit anywhere
Sit
unless it's
wherever,
cramped, and
yeah.
they'll find a place for you. But I get there and I show them my ticket, and he's like, "Oh, premium seating. Okay, your seat GA or whatever." It wasn't GA. I think GA is because general admission is where I pulled that from. But your seat, whatever, G16.
You're right.
Your seat G16. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I follow him. And this dude, I kid you not, walks me to the very back of the first
Mhm.
floor.
Mhm.
And it is not like extravagant seating. Like
No.
it is just a table that's at the back instead of anywhere else. In fact, I've had better seating at Cobbs when I've gotten general admission before.
But was it
It's-
one of the elevated booths in the back? Because there's like that back row of elevated booths that you
Yes.
actually sit up, you can see over people's heads.
I think it might have been a little bit elevated. I think
Okay.
I think the thing that really made it premium was that it was next to the bar.
Yeah, so you
Um,
get drinks fast and you get to
so you
hear
can
the
get-
bartenders talk.
Yeah, exactly. You can get drinks faster. Which doesn't matter for us as much because like Cobbs also has table service, and so
Yeah.
people are coming out to you anyway to get you the drinks you want. And so I sat down, I sat down next to strangers that I didn't know at the same table. Sat there for about 30 seconds when I was like,
no.
"Fuck this, no!" I'm getting up and I'm finding where Kevin.
I'm not in
and
the
them are at.
DMV right now.
Yeah, I am not about to sit next to strangers watching an hour and a half of people I love doing comedy. And so I eventually went back. But yeah, no, I somehow paid way more than required for this Cobbs comedy thing. But Nick killed it.
That is a bummer, and I'm sorry, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. And yeah, I think the Cobb staff I love the Cobb staff. I'm at Cobbs all the time. Cobbs is the club that I'll just, if I have nothing to do on a Saturday night or if I finish a show early, I'll just hit up comics and be like, let's go over to Cobbs and see who's there. And usually it's a big headliner. And since you're a comic, if they know you and they know you're not like trouble or anything like that, they'll just let you in. You go sit in those back rows or by the bar, have a drink, and just watch, high level comics perform. It's really, really cool. It's a great club. It's my favorite club in the Bay Area.
The reason I tell that story is because when I was sitting with Kevin, we ended up buying jalapeno poppers and mozzarella sticks for the table. And let me tell you, we gotta start ordering jalapeno poppers way more often. That shit is fire.
I'm in for it, dude. I'm in for it.
What is? I've asked this before, but bad memory. I don't remember anything. What is the makeup? What is the architectural sort of innards of a jalapeno popper?
Jalapeno on the inside, like surrounded by fried batter. Go for it.
If I may take over just for a moment here.
I think listen,
imagine
if you want to talk to the professionals here, we got to call Kevin off the bench.
Kevin will draw you a diagram.
Andy, imagine a spoon full of cream cheese, and they get half of jalapeno, so it's sliced, and they put that little spoonful right in there. They cover it all in batter and they deep fry it. That's a jalapeno popper, and it's so good.
It's so good.
I don't know if I like the idea of a spoonful of cream cheese.
Andy, imagine if we're going down a river, okay?
That's
and
what
we're
it
in a
is,
boat,
though, Joey.
We're in a boat made of jalapeno, and you and I are the cream cheese, and we're headed toward lava, and we go through that lava, but it's
the lava wouldn't be the cream cheese.
The lava's the batter.
No, the lava's the batter.
We're the cream
guys-
cheese.
yeah,
you and
you
me are
guys
the
are the
cream
cream
cheese.
cheese.
What was the dip, Kevin, that we had?
Spinach.
I don't know. It was like
It was
some
like a
sort
white
of
dip.
Queso?
ranch, yeah.
Oh yeah, it might have been like a queso or ranch.
Yeah, it wasn't a queso.
All right, Nick. So what were you saying about the lava?
And you go through the lava, and the lava cooks us, but it doesn't burn us. It just cooks us just right to the point where we feel like we're swaddled in love.
Mm-hmm.
That's a jalapeno.
It's like a
popper.
hot tub
Now,
temperature.
imagine
lava.
you take that jalapeno popper and you stick it in your mouth and you bite into it, and it squirts scalding hot jalapeno
Scalding
juice
hot.
into your mouth.
It's
every
so
single time.
good.
It's
And
so
onto
hot.
your pants because that's what
Yeah,
happened to me.
everywhere.
I legitimately had to stand up and go to the bathroom and clean myself off because it was like of a jalapeno popper.
Oh, that's what that was.
Squirted all
Okay,
over.
all right,
Yeah, that's why I got up, Kevin. I didn't make a thing about it because I was too embarrassed.
Yeah,
I'm sure about it all.
the heat just gets sucked into the cream cheese and it becomes like aerated to the point where it just squirts everywhere. It's pretty. They're hard to eat when they're piping hot. Andy,
They're so.
I'd like to imagine, maybe Blessing gets back in gets in his car, he's driving home, and he swerves because he sees like something in the road. Right, cop pulls him over. You all right, sir? What's going on? Why are you swerving on the road? Oh, you got a little stain on your lap there. No, it's jalapeno juice. it's
my
from
God.
jalapeno
No,
poppers.
That's
It's like, oh, did it squirt out? Yeah.
Great news, officer, I promise.
The question I was going to ask about the cream cheese is that cream cheese is it's cottage cheese, but a different thing, right? Like they're
cream cheese?
What?
Like Philadelphia
No.
cream cheese?
they're not
Cottage
like
cheese
just
is like a
different
milk curd.
names.
No,
No, they're totally different.
cottage
It's
cheese.
like a
is
different
milk
texture. It's a
curd.
different taste.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
dude, cream
I
cheese.
feel like
Maybe
cream
it's
cheese is closer to sour cream, maybe, than cottage
Yeah.
cheese.
Maybe.
But like mixed in with like the texture of like cold butter.
Okay. Because that's
yeah,
why
no, that's a good way to put it.
that's why this combination in my mind has not been working for me, because I'm thinking of people mixing cottage cheese with like pineapple, if I remember.
Yeah,
That's
That
good.
is a
Also,
thing.
that's pretty good.
I don't
But
like.
Which is
different-
like, yeah,
totally
it's fine
different flavor.
together, but then I think of like taking the cheese from there and mixing it with the spicy, savory, fried batter and jalapeno. I'm like, that doesn't mix in my head at all.
No, cream cheese.
Let me
very
Google
salty.
cream cheese. Let me look
Cream
at this. I
cheese
don't know
is
if,
like
I don't know if
a
y'all
bagel.
are right.
It's what
I don't
you
know if
put on a
y'all are
bagel.
right. I gotta verify.
Cream
this.
cheese is like the main ingredient.
Cheese on a bagel?
Cream cheese? That's
Yeah,
what you put on
like-
bagels.
on a bagel.
No,
Yeah,
I know,
and
but I'm
it-
asking if Andy's never had it. Is this like another thing like the mac and cheese?
I've never had cream cheese on a bagel. I've had
Oh,
a bagel.
have you
Have you
had
had
cream
cream cheese?
before?
What do you put on your bagel?
Butter, I think. I don't know.
Oh.
I've done it before.
You
but
like-
it's just like out of necessity.
Yeah, because you didn't
You
have
put any
any cream
seasoning
cheese.
on the
Yeah,
butter? Or-
exactly.
I think the only you know what? I think I've only really had a bagel that one time Greg made bagel burgers.
Oh, that was good. That was a
We
really
gotta
good.
get- we gotta-
burger.
We gotta get you a bagel.
When we get to the new
Yeah.
studio, we're gonna do our obligatory. Let's all go to Noah's Bagel for lunch. Get there
They
a little
closed.
too late,
They
realize that
closed.
they don't
Stephen
have
Begal?
bagels.
They closed.
Oh, they closed
Yeah.
over in that little area. The
There's
little-
gotta be
I'm sorry.
another
No,
one,
No, I was
though.
thinking the West Portal one. We got another bagel spot that's gonna be great.
Okay, we gotta go get a bagel because I love bagels for lunch. We gotta go a little early because they always sell out of the good bagels by like 10 o'clock because bagels spoilers.
This
are
surprised me
breakfast.
that you've not had a bagel with cream cheese and not had a bagel more than possibly once. Because for me, bagel is like a survival food.
I-
Like, it's always a good fallback.
Yeah.
Are these things you're doing at home, Bless, or are you going out to seek the bagel?
Trips.
A little bit of both. Like on trips, often if
Mhm.
I'm running low on time, I'll just grab a bagel because it's so easy. It's like
I feel like it's a
bread and
default like
butter.
hotel food for some reason.
Yeah, like when I went
So-
to Vegas this last time, I
Mhm.
got a bagel. I just dropped by Walgreens and they had already like pre-spread with cream cheese bagels that I could just pick up and eat.
I guess when it comes to me and sort of you're in that you're in a bind, right? I never want to be in a situation where I won't have an option. Where maybe this place the line is too long, so like that's why on every trip I'm bringing like a whole box of the Belvita breakfast, like blueberry
Yeah.
biscuit, whole grain shit things, So like my breakfast, I'm never really seeking a bagel. Or seeking really anything. I have the thing with me because I don't want to have to depend on the outside world.
See, to
But
me,
also,
the
bagels can be good.
Oh, they're so
you
Bagels
know,
are so
Bagels
good.
are so
like
good.
they got different kind. They got the everything bagel, which I like quite a
Too
bit.
much.
You got the
It's too
cheese
much.
bagel? The cheese
Yeah,
bagel?
the everything
The
bagel
cheese with the jalapeno on top
Yeah,
too.
cheese jalapeno bagel.
Yeah.
Put some
Amy,
salmon spread.
You're
on
eating
that.
jalapeno in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
like
a-
bagel form.
it's like
The
a
cream
brunch
cheese
thing.
Cuts it.
Huh.
You can do a lot
Interesting.
with bagels.
Like
See,
after
You
to
could do a
me-
bagel breakfast sandwich, also great.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
the best. That's like a croissant sandwich, but like a lot, not as pretentious. We're like,
Yeah,
get out of here,
it's-
French.
Way
Again, like
tougher.
You
that's
don't
thing
really
is
like eggs though, Andy, huh? Or do you now?
bagels might
That's
be the
Mike.
quickest.
He was
Mike.
allergic. No,
Mm.
Andy was allergic to eggs.
Yeah, I grew up allergic to eggs, and I didn't stop being allergic until I was like 16 or 17. And by that point, I just never acquired a taste. Never liked the texture either, Joe. Even when I did try,
Mm.
because there were several times that I would try to eat eggs while still kind of being allergic. I'd say like my allergies faded off like in my early teens,
Mhm.
and even then I was like, the texture just ain't working for me. I don't know.
I love
Do you not
that,
fuck
man.
with breakfast burritos either then?
Like I'll just do breakfast tacos. But at that point it's just like super plain, just
Yeah.
Without the
tortilla
meat
with
part?
beans or potato. Un taco de papas or taco de frijoles.
One of the reasons I like bagels is because for at home is because they're probably the easiest, quickest breakfast to make for me as a lazy person.
Yeah.
Mm.
Where
And I'm
legit-
Do
lazy.
you do you even bother toasting them?
No,
Yeah,
I'll
I
just grab
didn't-
one,
I didn't used to either.
spread
I
the
used to
cream
just-
cheese and eat it.
Come
I got to a point in college where I didn't even bother cutting the bagel. I would just
I've been
literally
there. I've been there.
I would literally open up a tub of Philadelphia cream cheese
Just
and
dip it in.
tear hunks of the bagel apart and just dip it in there. And
Oh, I respect that so
I'll be
much.
honest, I still do that to this day sometimes because the bagel for me, I'll tell you where it is. It's my reward at the end of the trip when I'm slightly hungover when we get to the airport, like the destination airport. We have to leave there. I'll get that bagel and I'm just like, I don't want to spread this thing. And to this day, I'll just still grab hunks and just.
Nick,
That's actually
so good.
honestly that's some good advice. I might start doing that because it does take some time to
No.
cut up that bagel if you're trying
It's
to cut
too,
that
it's,
bagel in half.
it's too, there's too
You gotta
much.
start
And then
toasting
sometimes they don't
20
give you a
seconds.
knife to spread the cream cheese on the bagel, and it's
Exactly.
just
That's true.
Yeah,
What
that's
I,
too much
I've
work.
considered getting one of the what do they call them?
bagel
You-
slicers.
Yeah, the bagel slicers. Yeah,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
gonna call it
Those are
like the what you call it when you like cut off the head.
guillotine.
Guillotine.
Yeah, the guillotine. What are the guillotines for bagels?
The
I've been
guillotine.
considering getting one of those because I had one of those at a previous job that I worked at, and I used to use that daily, and it is such a time saver, man. Having
Did
that.
you use it for paper though?
No, like legit just
Oh.
for bagels. It was like.
Andy, it doesn't look anything like that.
No, because I worked at a printing.
Oh, you're talking about
place.
the.
The
I know
paper-
exactly
You're
what you're
talking
talking
about
about.
the
Yeah.
Mm.
The big paper cut, yeah,
Yeah,
it
no,
was
no.
so satisfying. I worked at this like a kind of almost like an Office Depot type place, but it was not only for supplies, but they would also kind of different schools would kind of go through them for school supplies where we'd have to like put together orders of like, oh, this is for Buell Elementary or whatever middle school, and getting that paper cutter, like obviously like the sick part of my mind would be like, what if I put my finger in here? Like, how would that feel? And probably bad. But it's just like the ease of the, it just felt so satisfying.
Did y'all ever do wood shop in high school?
Yeah.
No.
I did, and every now and then I have like almost like post-traumatic flashbacks, even though nothing happened, of what ifs.
Oh yeah.
I was
Like Final
you have
Destination?
PTSD about what could have happened.
But that's exactly what I have though. Like every now and then I'll just flash back to wood shop in high school where I'm cutting wood with one of the buzz saws, and I'm like, dude, I was what, 15 years old? I was an idiot. There was probably a high chance that I could have cut my thumb off.
Oh, easily.
And I think about that so often, how I
I'm
should not
sure
have
that
had that
happens.
kind of power growing up.
I'm sure that happens all the time in woodshop classes. We just don't hear about it because they're like, we got if people knew the real rate of thumbs lost in the woodshop classes in high school, they would cancel that program immediately. And there's a bunch of woodshop professors, like conspiracy, just getting together, being like, we can't let this end.
Silent.
We've had such a good long.
We gotta stop the
gotta
news
do it.
from getting out.
Yeah, we can't. It's like they're in bed with Bigwig.
I wanted to just the reason why I brought up the joke about like, oh, Nick's stand up and Funches stand up, that sucks that I couldn't make it, but I did buy a ticket.
Well, that's nice because Ron.
Were you ever planning on going?
Yeah, I bought a ticket. I bought a ticket like last week when I saw KindaFunny tweet about it, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot that was happening. I need to buy my ticket. But like, no joke, legitimately, I have started to fear more and more long COVID. I've had more and more of an issue of like, I don't mind getting sick now because I'm pretty sure I will not die. Like, I don't have that fear of COVID anymore, but I have the fear of like, what if I am the one to get long COVID where for the next who knows how long, it's even though I'm tested negative for 7 months or I'm a year out from having COVID, I'm still dealing with I'm already tired as it is. I don't want to possibly run into the issue of I'm just super exhausted now and everything sucks and I'm super head foggy. I'm already super head foggy as it is. Like I legitimately worry about that as a thing now. Like it's not great because obviously, how you actually gonna live if you're constantly in fear of that. But I just thought more and more about being in that cramped area, and I was like, I have a really good mask, and I could put another mask over that sort of thing. And I don't know. I just kind of started freaking out more and more about it.
Well, you got to do what your comfort level dictates, right? If you're not comfortable with it, of course, we don't want you putting yourself in a place where you're uncomfortable. But it was a really good show. And it was packed. I think they sold out. At least that's what they told us, because if you remember, Andy, when we had Ron on the show, he said if we sell out, we all have to do jokes about Jewel. Do you remember that?
I do.
I certainly didn't when I walked into the green room. And the first thing Ron said to me was, "Do you have your Jewel joke ready?" And I was like, "Shit."
That's amazing.
Shit, I totally forgot about that. And he had been promoting it like that the entire time. So I guess his team had been promoting like, if we sell out in San Francisco, we all got to do Jewel jokes.
That's
So,
amazing.
Yeah, we had some,
I didn't know what was
Every
happening until
time.
the fourth act.
Yeah.
I was like, why do they keep referencing Jewel? And then like I had a flashback to reading a KindaFunny tweet, and I was like, oh shit, this is us. This is our fault. That's what's happening.
It was.
I
It was
love
our
the idea
fault.
of Blessing, like,
Popped off
man,
so hard.
every celebrity or every comedian here is like done a Jewel joke. What's
Yeah,
going?
I was like, is Jewel just like a very like does everybody? Like, not that everybody doesn't know Jewel because everyone knows Jewel, but like, is Jewel in vogue? Like, is Jewel relevant again?
Not at all.
Resurgence.
It's like everybody had a Trump joke at one point, you know?
It was one of those things where I went up second. For context, well, actually, before that context, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break to tell you about our sponsors.
Shout out to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this episode. When you use the bathroom, you always close the door behind you, right? Well, You don't want random passerbyers looking in on you, so why would you let people look in on you when you go online? Your internet service provider knows every single website you visit. ExpressVPN puts a stop to this. It creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so that your online activity can't be seen by anyone. I use ExpressVPN on all my devices, whether it's my phone, my desktop, everything. Anytime I'm using the internet, just because I am trying to stay as safe as possible. The best part is using ExpressVPN is as easy as closing the bathroom door. You just fire up the app, you click one button, and you're protected. It is so easy. It's the biggest button in the world. One click, you're done. So if you're like me and believe your online activity is your business, secure yourself today by visiting expressvpn.com/kindafunny. You can use our link, expressvpn.com/kindafunny, and you can get an extra 3 months free. That's expressvpn.com/kindafunny. This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. Are people still trying to make plans with you this summer? As if you aren't booked and busy already. But thankfully, MeUndies wants to help make this summer the most comfortable one you will never forget. Because when you're living your best life, the last thing you want to worry about is butt sweat. And I know that from experience. But you know what? MeUndies has always been there to help me. I'm always wearing my MeUndies shirts, my lounge pants, my lounge shorts, my undies themselves, the socks. I'm a MeUndies fanboy. Wouldn't have it any other way. I just absolutely love the soft micro-modal fabric. Find your ultimate summer comfort in sizes extra small all the way up to 4XL. MeUndies has a great offer for all of you out there. For any first-time purchasers, you can get 15% off. For a limited time, if you sign up for the free-to-join MeUndies membership, you get 25% off your first membership item. To get 50% off your order, 25% off your first membership item, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/kindafunny. That's MeUndies.com/kindafunny. Shout out to Athletic Greens for sponsoring this episode. I started taking AG1 because I'm not a big pill guy. I don't want to spend a lot of time on extra things, but I wanted to make sure that I was taking care of my health. Now, I've been using it the last couple months and I love it. It doesn't taste like it's super healthy. It has a fun tropical taste that I actually look forward to in the morning. With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focused, and aging. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/kindafunny. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/kindafunny to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. athleticgreens.com/kindafunny.
For context, here's how this came about. Of course, Ron was on one of our shows, then he came into a stream with us. But on that show, Greg mentioned that I'm a comic, and Ron offered me 5 minutes to come do a little guest spot on his show. And that's not normally what happens. He travels with his people. Those are his, that's his crew of podcasters and friends and fellow comics that he travels with. And so when I got there, I fully expected when he said that thing, I was like, oh man, they're going to come with this heat, and they're going to know what's going on, and the audience is totally going to be fired up and know what's going on. And everyone pretty much had forgotten about it, including Ron, who I think made some stuff up that day. So when Gabe, who was the opener, went and did his joke, 10 people laughed. Then when I did my joke, 15 people laughed. The same 10 as before, maybe plus 5, because I think people are starting to catch on. But I don't think it ever really got. I don't think it caught fire ever. I don't think.
Those are the ones for us.
I'm pretty sure the only people laughing was our table, and
I'm pretty sure it was you guys because I heard 10 people laugh.
Yeah, we were laughing really fucking hard, really hard.
How many kind of funny fans were there?
Oh, a good amount.
I saw a good amount.
Handful.
Yeah. We got seated. We had a large group. It was a total of 10 people, and so they took us up to the balcony and set us way in the back. And right in front of us was best friend that we see all the time, and right to our left was another best friend. And on our way out, I got stopped, I think twice for photos.
The funny thing is, well, the person that was seated right next to us, I don't think he was aware that we were gonna be there or that like Ron Funches was on KF or anything, because I get there, like I'm walking to my seat, and my seat is literally like right next to him, and he's like, "Hey, are you blessing?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, what's up, man?" He's like, "Oh man, I listen to PS Love You all the time." And I towards the left because that's where our table is, and literally like Tim, Greg, like everybody's sitting right there. So I was like, oh, cool, turn around, man. And he's like, oh shit, like, what are you guys doing here? Like, does that mean Nick's gonna perform? And I'm like, dude, did you not listen to the show? Like, yeah, no, this is what this is. And he was really cool. Like, it was like I've not been in many scenarios, weirdly enough, in the last 2.5 years where I'm out in public at places where KindaFunny best friends are gonna be at. And so it still feels weird for somebody to be like, oh, you blessed? Oh man, I listened to the show. And I'm like, oh, I apologize, man. I'm sorry for what I said about Daft Punk or whatever the fuck.
Well, hopefully, yeah, and obviously, as the events happen more and more, hopefully, we'll get that experience more because that is one of the cool things that we get to do is to go out there and meet people who actually are crazy enough to listen to 2 hours of our content in a given time. But that was a really, really fun night, and shout out to Ron and the team for being awesome and bringing me in with open arms, and just Ron. Shout out to Ron. He's just a phenomenal comic.
He's a great comedian.
Yeah, one of the fun things you get to do when you're not nervous anymore after you've gone up is we just sit, like, you can't really see it from the audience where you guys were, but we just sit in that little tunnel where you go up, little staircase, and we just watch. And it's so cool to watch someone be able to do, like, I'm mystified that anyone can do 45 to 50 minutes of that good of comedy and make it look effortless. It's so cool because to me, I'm like struggling to hit 15 minutes and remember everything, and Ron's just there, just having a great time and that's just the experience of it.
I like your joke.
Are you going up there, Nick, without any backups?
Thank you. What's that?
Are you going up there without any backup?
What do you mean?
Like, I have to remember this no matter what.
No. I did 6. When I got there, Marcus, who is the guy that runs Cobbs, he's the general manager of Cobbs, really nice guy, was like, "Hey, Nick, what's going on?" I know him because I again hang out there a lot. And he was like, "Oh, you're here, cool. You're gonna do 6, which means I'm gonna do 6 minutes." He's like, "Do you want a 1 or 2 minute light?" I'm like, "Give me a 1 minute light. I'll just get off the stage whenever you light me, basically." But that's an average set for me nowadays is 12 to 15 minutes. So I've got a ton of. I actually sat with my buddy Janesh. We went and grabbed coffee, and he was like, "What's your set list gonna be?" And I was like, honestly, I'm not great at cherry picking jokes and like making like a master set list like you should do. I'm like, I'm just gonna start with what I normally would do because that's my comfort level, so I can go up and have fun because it's 6 minutes, and like there's nothing I'm really gonna do that's gonna blow Ron's skirt up. He's not gonna be like, "But you're the most amazing comic I've ever seen," because he works at the store. He's been around people that are the most incredible comics on the planet. So I basically was just like, I just don't want to eat it. I just want to go up and have fun and do a decent set. And he actually gave me some really, really good advice afterward, which was cool.
I
really like quit, bro. Just quit.
He's like, "Get the fuck out of here, man."
No, as we were taking pictures at the end, and I was like, "Hey, man, thanks again." I pulled him aside. I was like, "Thanks so much again for having me on." And he goes, "You got good jokes, man." He's like, "Yeah, no problem, man. You got good jokes. Stop asking so many questions." And I thought he was referring to the fact that I hit him up like 9 times. I was like, "Are you sure it's cool that I come to this show? Like, you can back out. It's not a big deal. I won't take any offense to it." And he goes, "No, I'm talking about on stage." He's like, "Those are just buffers. When comics ask a lot of questions, like, 'Hey, where are the married people at?' Or 'Can we talk about this thing?' Or yada, yada." He goes, "Those are just getting in the way of your jokes. You got good jokes. Just tell your jokes." And I was like, "Huh, cool." Sage
I appreciate
wisdom.
that, man. Like,
Me too.
having people that are good at what they do that aren't afraid to like give feedback in that way is like super valuable. Like, that reminds me of a few weeks ago, I was watching a video of Jaden Smith, who was doing an interview, and he was talking about how like he was hanging out with Tyler, the Creator, who's another huge rapper who is also his friend. And Tyler listened to Jaden's album and was basically like, "Yeah, I don't like this album. This is a bad album," and told him all the
Really?
reasons why. Yeah. And for Jaden Smith, who probably very much looks up to Tyler, because Tyler's like one of the best rappers in the game right now, I'm sure that's like a gut punch, but also okay, cool, I can trust this person. Like, this is somebody who genuinely cares about the work I put in. And yeah, like Ron Funches is somebody who, like, I think we're all to some extent fans of his work, because like he's King Shark, and he showed up in that show Powerless on NBC, the DC one with Vanessa Hudgens that I watched the first episode of. And so like
he's also in Loot, by the way. We'll just shout out Loot over on Amazon or Apple TV Plus. Really, really good show. Just got renewed for a second season.
But he's someone that I think I think all of us to some extent are fans of or look up to. So for him to be like, "Oh yeah, here's like this small piece of feedback," is really cool.
I think it would have been a lot cooler though had he not been on any of our podcasts and had we not had any prior relationship with him. That piece of advice would have been a lot cooler, Nick. Like, if he was just like randomly Ron Funches, big comedian guy, big stand up, all these TV shows, and for him to just be like, "You got good jokes, man. Quit asking questions."
Yeah.
and be like,
I mean,
wow, that's
whoa.
cool. And he's like smoking a cigar. He's smoking a cigar for some
in this
reason.
fantasy, he has a cigar.
Yeah, and
Okay,
then he
that's
like
cool.
steps into the limo with his like chauffeurs and stuff. Like, man, that would have been like really awesome for
That'd
you.
be
But
dope.
we kind of know him already, so like it's not that cool, but it's still really cool, Nick.
I'll
It's really
say,
cool.
generally speaking, I've only been around a handful of like big lineups like that. I'm just glad that anyone of that caliber paid attention to anything I had to say on stage, because normally, because that's the thing is, like, you guys, I don't know if you've probably never been in the green room for Cobbs. It's a really big green room. It's very comfortable, and they pipe in what's happening on stage, but they don't pipe in the laughs. So you hear the comics, but you have to hear the laughs coming from like downstairs, and it's just loud enough to be that thing where it lulls you to sleep. You know, where it's like a music in a dental office where you kind of can hear it, but you can't really pay attention. So, and most of the time, people are doing God knows what in the green room anyway. We're just talking shit to each other and having a fun time. So the fact that he stuck around for at least a couple of my jokes was special for me. That was pretty cool.
There's an upstairs there.
In Cobbs?
Yeah, like you
Yes.
said, you hear the laughter downstairs. So the green room's in some upper area.
Yeah, as you go into the left, you go through the kitchen's back there. To the right is the tiny little set of staircase that goes up to the stage. To the left is another set of stairs that goes up to the green room. The green room is on the second floor. And then around the other side there's two sets of stairs that go up to the balcony. And then on the far side of the balcony is the manager's office / the tech room with all the like audio equipment and stuff. Well, actually, I think the audio board's over on the other side. But yeah, the manager's office up there too. All these little hidden nooks of this venue. And it's so cool because the venue's so old, because I think it used to be like a Bill Graham venue. It used to be a
Special
music
bookcases.
Well, the crazy thing is
Bookcase stores.
downstairs. If you want to talk about that, as you walk into Cobbs, if you ever go see a show there, take a look at they have a step and repeat that's up like to the right, where usually people put merch and stuff there. And that's
What does that mean?
A step and repeat's one of those big like banner
Background
wall size
things.
banner backgrounds where people come, they step, they take a picture, and then
They're
they
always
leave,
like
and then someone else comes.
branded. It's like
Yeah.
RTX.
Yeah, exactly.
And like the sponsors.
Behind that is a staircase that goes downstairs, and there's a whole other space for a venue down there that they just haven't done anything with. It's massive.
Whoa.
It
Damn.
runs the entire length of Cobbs.
Holy
but
shit!
It's just too expensive, I think, for them to do anything with, because it would take millions of dollars probably to retrofit it. But that's where we took pictures. I'll post some pictures. My friend Jim took me down there, but it's really cool. Very,
I'm
very
sure
cool.
getting AC down there isn't.
It was hot. I mean,
Yeah.
Cobbs in general stays pretty okay because they have those big AC vents, but downstairs it's gonna be pretty rough.
I was
for sure.
burning up. I decided to wear a sweater.
Smart.
It was terrible. I was on fire.
I saw your Instagram video. It's like, why did I wear a sweater? Why did I do this?
Do you guys check
Blessed.
out the Emmy nominations?
No.
I saw bits and pieces of it, but I haven't looked at the whole list yet.
I've been like looking through it because they just dropped for 2022, and I'm like, man, there's some good TV that came out, right? Like I'm looking at for like best drama, right? They got Better Call Saul, Euphoria, Ozark, Severance, Squid Game, Stranger Things, Succession, and Yellow Jackets. And I'm like, dude, I don't know where I'm
Fire
where I'm
lineup.
going. That's a fire
list.
lineup. I've not seen Better Call Saul, and I hear those fans be like, yo, this is the greatest thing we've ever watched. So I wouldn't be surprised if that might take it away. But like,
yeah, but all those
I don't know
fans
what
are
I
like
get with
Andy.
this.
You can't trust them.
yeah, they do always say that. Squid Game
Well,
has that, I think, like popularity to it.
You know how they say it though, Bless? They go, well, you gotta watch Better Call Saul.
He's
That's how
doing
he always says
he's
it.
doing a terrible Mike Ehrmantraut impression. he
That's
he
what
tries
they
to
do.
he tries to do my impersonation of Mike Ehrmantraut. The thing with Better Call Saul, though, I think it takes it just because it's the final season.
Hmm.
Probably. I mean, I'll tell you what though. I watched a little bit of Yellow Jackets. That show's insane. That show
Yellow
is
Jackets
great.
is really good.
And if you think you're gonna get one over on Stranger Things easily, you got another thing coming, because Stranger Things season 4 was incredible.
I will say, out of these, because I've seen Euphoria, Ozark, Severance, Squid Game, Stranger Things. Severance might be the best season of TV I've watched
Really?
this year. I fucking love Severance. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, but
That's
like,
the one where you go into work, you don't know what you do when you come out of work, and then you party.
I need to finish
yeah.
it.
The only
It's
reason
like
I
a
haven't
brain
was because
surgery.
I don't have Apple TV.
It's
You
worth
can-
it for
you
like
can borrow
get
Joey's.
get the free trial or borrow Joey's. Apple TV
I
has some
don't
good shit.
I
On
don't
there.
want anymore. I use my parents.
You do
Joey,
now.
I told you you can have
Congratulations,
my
I
Apple
signed you up for
TV.
it.
Oh yeah, Kev, can you send it to me?
Both Apple
you
TV
have to
and
send me your email so I can add you to my family plan.
Apple
Oh,
TV and HBO
okay.
Max are taking over for me as far as like original
Mhm.
content. I think they're stronger. They're getting stronger than Netflix at this point, at least for new stuff. You know, I love Stranger Things, and I love Squid Game as well. But fucking
Did Search
Severance was
Party get
insane.
nominated?
Ooh, I can search through.
I know they didn't get nominated for like comedy series or whatever, but I'm kind of surprised
I'll
if they didn't
control
get any
F.
other
Yeah,
nominations.
comedy is Abbott Elementary, Barry, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Hacks, The Marvelous Miss Maisel,
Dude.
Only Murders, Ted Lasso, and What We Do in the Shadows.
Hacks. It should take that. Hacks was so good.
I almost watched Only Murders the other day, and then I ended up watching The After Party instead.
See, I
Which
couldn't
is
get
fucking
into the
awesome.
after
Both
party.
good.
Was the after party that was the one on Amazon?
Apple TV Plus.
That was
Apple
Apple
TV.
TV.
Apple TV. That's
Ben
the one with Tiffany
Schwartz.
Haddish and Ben Schwartz and others.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I couldn't get into that one for some reason. I couldn't get into only Murders in the Building either. I don't know why. I just watched the first episode. I was like, this is kind of lingering for some reason for me.
Joe, what was the one you're asking about?
Lingering.
Search Party,
Wait, Search Party is the one with maybe
Ben Schwartz.
or no?
Right.
I'm thinking that's what I thought, Bless. I thought you were gonna say the what's
With
your name
maybe
from
Arrested Development.
Arrested Development, right? She
No.
is in the show. But that's an
Oh,
old
sorry.
show, I think.
What am I thinking of then?
You're not thinking Search Party.
After
You're thinking
Party.
After
Thank
Party.
Yeah,
you.
you're
the one
thinking
we just
After
talked
Party.
about.
Search Party also good, but I think it's over.
No,
I
Search
think it's
Party.
been over for
I
a while,
think-
Joe.
No, I
it
think
was.
there was a new season recently.
Was there really?
Yeah.
Oh, then
like
maybe I
this
just
year.
missed it.
Because I watched it at the beginning of the year, maybe at the end of last year, and I started watching. And I was like, "This is fantastic." By the time I was in season 2, I was like, "This is riveting." And then I got to season 4, and I was like, "I cannot watch this anymore." The show has gone from comedy, like almost like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia levels of, "Oh man, this is dysfunctional, but it's really funny," into this is really dark and really fucked up, and they're torturing these characters in front of me for 10 episodes straight. I can't do this shit anymore.
See, that was me with Barry. I had to stop watching after episode 3 of this final
Oh.
season with Barry. I was like, this is too dark. This is really messed up. And no disrespect. I mean, Bill Hader and The Wink do a phenomenal job in the show,
Dude.
but it's just too intense, man. I was like, this is bumming me
Wait,
out.
did that get nominated?
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Oh,
It gets
Blessing just
more.
mentioned it.
It gets more intense,
it
man.
did.
Holy shit. Yeah, finishing Barry was the thing I love about Barry the most is that they're 30-minute episodes. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have to be because
Yeah.
it was an hour. I'd be like, I'm gonna have a heart attack. This is too tense.
yeah,
Too
and
much.
it's so bizarre that, you know, it still has its comedic moments that are played out very comedically.
Yeah.
This is like sitcom type shit of we're gonna have a silly thing happen with like, oh, who would have thought this would have happened? And then they just hit you over the head with the most intense Breaking Bad style, like fucking murdering.
That's
oh
exactly
my
what I was gonna
God.
say. I feel like Barry, especially this last season, was like, imagine if Breaking Bad was a comedy, but every bit as intense as Breaking Bad.
That
That's
takes
kind of
me
what
out of
Barry
it
is.
so hard. Like at that point, like I think it was Search Party probably is the closest thing in my mind that I've watched lately that is that same thing where it has that level of intensity. It has that level of what's happening right now on screen is sick. Like this has gone beyond like, oh, this is comedy. I can't laugh at this anymore. Like at that point, it's so hard for me to find the comedy. Though I do want to watch Barry because I have heard really good things.
The first season of Barry is phenomenal. It's so funny, and it's because of that one guy, the bald guy.
Yeah,
What's
no
his
ho
name?
Hank.
Yeah, no Hank.
No,
Best character ever.
North Hollywood Hank. Yeah. The
Funny.
I'd say all of it is worth it, Bless. Like I've
Yeah.
loved every single bit of Barry. And again, they're 30-minute episodes, so it's really quick to get through.
I'll tell you, if you want a
love
really
that.
intense show, you should watch The Bear on FX. Bringing it back full circle. It's really, really good. I don't think we even talked about, if people haven't watched it yet, we should talk about how good the show is.
It is riveting. That I haven't had a show that like I just wanted to power through the entire thing in one sitting in quite some time.
There are two things in my life that give me more anxiety than anything else I could even imagine. Okay. Spending time with my entire extended Italian family and having
That's a
to
show.
work again in the food service industry. Both of those things were moments in my life, obviously, that are incredibly rewarding, but also incredibly difficult at times. This show combines both of those and is absolutely riveting to watch. And
Yeah.
it gives me like the moments where they're like in the kitchen, everything's going wrong.
Episode
we had those
7?
moments. Oh God, that's gonna get an Emmy. I don't know if it probably was. It came out way too late to get nominated for this year, but I'm sure by next year. That episode alone was incredible. It's just a very well made show, and also shot in Chicago. I think it's shot in Chicago. At least
I
they
think
shoot
it
a lot
is
of
too.
exteriors in Chicago. And that's just not a city I see a ton of, and it's an awesome city, and it's really cool to see that. So
I really like it. Has a really, really good ensemble cast. And what I like about it most is that it's a lot of older actors that are like career actors that haven't necessarily, or at least that I've seen, haven't had like big breaks. They're just kind of filling in like here and there on a bunch of different shows. So it's kind of cool to see them get like a moment to like really flourish in like a role that's established over like 8 episodes, not super long term, but it's also 30-minute episodes, Andy. So it's super easy to fly through. It's not like a huge commitment.
Exactly what I like to hear.
Yeah, it's so good. The girl that plays Sydney,
awesome.
incredible. She's so good. I don't know. I've never seen her in anything else, but
Me
now I
neither.
want to like watch her in anything else that she's in.
The only person I recognize is the cousin. I've seen him in
From
stuff.
Girls, yeah.
because I didn't watch Shameless.
I didn't
which I
either.
guess the main character played a character named Lip or Philip on
Yeah.
Shameless. I never watched that show. I couldn't get into that one either. But this one's very, very good. I highly recommend it. Just get past the first like couple seconds because the first shot's very weird. It's just like you're like, what the hell's happening here? And then when you get to the actual restaurant, it's very, very good from that point on. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, if you didn't know, this is the Kind of Funny podcast. If you're a Patreon member, you go over to patreon.com/kindoffunny. You want to back us over there, you get to write in questions to the show. We got a fun one to you guys to round this show out. Grant Burton writes, and it says, one day you'll be on your final ever podcast, and you might not realize it at the time. What would you like the topic to be for your final podcast?
The final podcast. Good God.
Rank the bubblegums.
Exactly, Andy. Your brain went exactly where I want mine to. I want my final podcast episode to be exactly like my much storied career in podcasting. I want it to be dumb. I want it to be the stupidest podcast. I want people to be like, he was a magnificent talent, a force to be reckoned with. And the last podcast he ever did was titled "Which Water is the Best?" And it's just a bottle of Fiji versus Smart Water. Joe, what would your parting words on the podcast be? What's your
My
final
parting
podcast
words
be?
on the podcast? I feel so when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking either I leave Kind of Funny's over, I retire, something like that. The last thing I do is I'm making you all watch Mamma Mia, and we're doing an in-review for it. So that Andy finally learns it's not about a pizza parlor.
Can we eat pizza though while we watch it?
I like my headcanon
yes.
more, to be honest with you. I saw images of fucking James Bond doing some shit. What's his name?
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan,
That's
yeah.
what you're looking for on that one, yeah. For a second, I was like, was Daniel Craig in Mamma Mia? Have I not seen Mamma Mia? Blessing, have you seen Mamma Mia?
I've seen Mamma Mia 2 and not Mamma Mia
I
1.
fucked up. This is my fault. Because we were all hanging out and we're like, oh, we'll start with Mamma Mia 2 because it's like the prequel. It goes back and it tells young Meryl Streep's story. And Blessing was very
When I tell you,
confused.
I was so confused by the time we finished that movie. I was like, all right, so there's 2 timelines. Like, okay, there's one in the past, one in
Yeah,
the...
you need the context of the first
Are
one.
these all
for
the
sure.
same songs that are in the first one? Because like, it's all ABBA.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, man.
so
I do want to
freaking
watch Mamma Mia at some point though, because I enjoyed the second one despite not understanding anything.
funny. First movie's fun. First movie's very fun.
Mamma Mia is a less dramatic version of the Bear, right?
Pretty much
But it's
exactly
like a
the
pizza
same one.
place?
Pizza restaurant in Chicago.
Yeah.
In little Greece in
Bunch
Chicago.
of family, just a little family kind of running a little shop.
lot of family
not to
drama.
start. Not to start. To start, it's just the mom and the daughter running the restaurant. But then she's like, I gotta go find my 3 dads. And boom,
Huh?
bada bing, bada boom.
I don't. Close. Not quite.
Isn't that what Mamma Mia is about? Am I thinking the wrong movie? Doesn't she
I
invite
mean,
all the dads to the
She
island? and figure out who
she
was the
invites
real
him to
dad?
the wedding, but then the mom doesn't know. She's not like looking for her dads necessarily.
And Meryl Streep's the mom, right?
Yeah. And then
Man,
Amanda
you want to know
Seyfried.
what movie every time it comes on I gotta watch it?
Devil Wears Prada?
Well, that yes. I mean, Joe, that's a given. Come on, what are you talking to?
Okay.
No, I love watching It's Complicated. The one where she runs the
It's
bakery.
so good. Is that the one with Alec Baldwin too?
Where he plays the ex-husband, and
Yeah.
Steve Martin plays the contractor that she's kind of crushing on, and
It's
she's
so
just caught in this love
good.
triangle, and it's great.
Nancy Meyers at her best.
Hey, Nancy Meyers never steers you wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Kind of Funny podcast. Thank you so much for your attention. If you're not a Patreon member, over at patreon.com/kindoffunny, this is the end of the road, Jack. Park your car, get out, you're home. But if you are a Patreon member, stay tuned for our exclusive Patreon-only post show happening right now.